Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel where we love to hate on hyped books. Or do we? If you guys have watched any of our book club live streams from last year, you will have noticed that we don't typically tend to like the hyped books.
We don't follow the crowd.
Yeah, no, we are not sheep. But that hasn't been the case, as we came to find out that there actually are some hype books out there that we have liked. So we thought it would be kind of fun, since we spent all of last year bashing hype books, to show that we actually do like some of them.
In the interest of fairness.
Yes.
The interest of fairness.
Yeah.
We do like to follow the crowd occasionally.
Yes.
When it suits us to.
Yes, we are strong, independent women, and we will only follow the crowd when we want to. So, anyway, yeah. So, Kelly and I both have 10 hype books each that we're gonna share with you guys that we ended up liking, and then we'll have 5 at the end that we're gonna talk about together that we share in our love of.
So 25 hyped book recommendations.
Look at us go!
25.
Who would have thought?
And we're not going to talk about the books because they are hyped books, so you probably already know what these are about. So
Exactly. Yeah. I was honestly really surprised that there were so many hype books that I liked. Because I probably could have honestly done more than 10. These were just like the ones that I had physical copies of, pretty much, and then B, the ones that I just were in the forefront of my mind. So.
Yeah. I could have maybe done 11.
Yeah. Okay. So, per usual, Kelly is a little bit leaning more towards the Simon Cowell end of the spectrum here.
And I didn't have quite
I'm Paula.
There you go. I didn't have quite as many that I could come up with off the top of my head. If I had been able to sit with it for a while, maybe. And truthfully, I think some of the books that I picked, so here's how I decided if I had a question of whether it was hyped or not. I went on Amazon and Goodreads and saw how many reviews it had. Okay. Not just positive, just how many in total. And so that was kind of where I went, okay, well maybe this book was hyped, but this book really wasn't. And so that's kind of where I came up with my list too, because honestly, I read what I like, or what I think I'll like, which, I mean, I'm sure everybody does, but I don't always know if the book's hyped or not.
Okay.
So some of them I did have to actually look up going, I think it was. Or in one particular case, which I'll talk about, I was like, well, they made a movie out of it, so it must be.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Anyway, yeah. I had to research a little bit. So, yes, if I spent more time on it than I did, then I probably could come up with more, yeah. So.
Yeah, no, all of my choices are ones that I just, remember hearing a whole bunch of other people talk about it. Because majority of the books that I read are actually recommendations from booktubers or TikTok. So they are hyped books already.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's kind of my criteria going in. So that's probably why I have more that I like, because...
Which is going to be a possibly another topic for video, since hyped books seem to be our thing, whether we like them or not.
Yeah. About
possibly something called What the Hype. So, I don't know. Stay tuned. You'll find out when we do, probably.
Probably so. That's how things go on this channel.
That's kind of how we do things.
We make up things on the fly.
We kind of do. Anyway, we're here to give you 25 recommendations of hype books that we think are good.
Yes.
So.
And if we say that they're good, then by God, they're good.
They better be.
They better be.
Yeah.
In no particular order.
No particular order.
My first hype book, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This book made me sob uncontrollably. I've read it so many times, I've lost count. I love it. Every time I read it, I think I love it more. I didn't care for the movie as much. I think the book is better. This is also a book that I've actually... Is it? I thought it was. I thought that this was a book that I had highlighted a lot of passages through. I guess I did not. I must have done that in another copy or something. I don't know what happened there. But I think it's really well written. I really enjoyed the love story in it. Yeah, it's just like a heart-wrenching tale that just got to me. I don't know. I know you're looking at me like this isn't like no, but you know, whatever, to each their own. I liked it.
There you go. A lot of people like. I've never read it, so I can't poo-poo on it. I've never read it, so
yeah. I don't know.
a lot of people liked it.
It's on my favorite bookshelf.
They
One of my
made a
5
movie
stars.
out of it.
They did. The movie is not as good, I don't think, but you know.
It rarely is.
But anyway,
Very rarely.
this is my first hyped book.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of books and movies, I believe this is one where the movie was as good as the book. So, my first hyped book is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. And there was an animated movie made for this, which was so sweet. But yeah, I love it. I've read this multiple times. It is just magical and charming and sweet, and the demon that lives in the fireplace is just hilariously funny, and yeah, I just absolutely love it.
I love me a funny demon.
Oh, I'm telling you, maybe I'll pick this for you sometime. You haven't read this? Oh my goodness. Howl's Moving Castle. It is really sweet. I love it. Okay.
Alright, well, since you mentioned magic, it only seems fitting my next rec is Harry Potter. Any of the Harry Potter, the whole series, all of the books. This will forever be one of my favorite series of all time. I read it as a kid, I read it as an adult, all the times that I've read it, equally as good and definitely better than the movies. I love the movies to death, but the books is where it's at. And yeah, I don't know. Harry Potter stand for life, like, definitely worth that in my opinion.
So, continuing with our books and movies theme we got going on here, my next one is Life of Pi by Yann Martel. And I have not seen the movie, actually, so this might be another books and movie night. But yeah, it's a very slow book.
So is the movie.
It's very introspective. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And there's even a touch of magic realism in here on the man-eating island. So, I know, yeah, there's just really not, I mean, you would think being trapped in the ocean with a tiger on a small boat, there'd be some action, but there's really not. There's really not a lot of action involved, but a lot of just really beautiful introspection and problem solving by the kid on there. And I really, really enjoyed it so much. So, haven't watched the movie, so I gotta do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, next up I have The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. The entire Raven Cycle series, chef's kiss. It's amazing. It's so well done. I love all of the characters. I want to be a part of the Raven Boys. Like, I want to be in it. There is action, there's adventure, there's fantasy, there's like spooky elements. It's like, there's ghosts in this book.
It's got everything.
It's got everything that I love. And so, yeah. It's just, this is a series that I could and have read over and over again. I know that Books and Lala, this is a series that she rereads like every year or every few months. I don't even know. She rereads it a lot, and rightfully it deserves to be reread. Like, it's so good. So yeah. If you yeah. That's perfect.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one, going back to the movie and book thing, and one of actually my all-time favorite authors too, Neil Gaiman, American Gods. I picked this one over his other books because I think that this is probably the most hyped of his books. And I do believe it is a hype book. I mean, again, they made a movie. They made a TV series out of it. But I mean, gosh, you want to talk about a book that has everything. I mean, it's obviously it's about gods, but like every pantheon you can think of is in this book. So yeah, I just really enjoy it, and I like his, well, Neil Gaiman, I just like his take on most things. It's just not normal. And that's probably why I like it so much, but American Gods. And the TV show's pretty darn good too. They picked a really good actor to do Shadow. And the fact that Gabriel Byrne is Odin, I mean, yeah. It's perfect.
Perfect. I'm gonna have to check them both out.
Yes.
Alright, my next book is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. No surprise to Kelly, and probably no surprise to anyone else who would have watched our... Do we have a book club discussion on this?
Not videos, no.
Oh, yeah.
That was an in-person, yeah.
That was pre... Okay, well, I love this book to pieces. The main character, Daisy Jones, is just phenomenal. She's messed up. She's got a lot of issues for sure. But I loved her. I wanted to be Daisy Jones. I still want to be Daisy Jones. For all of her bad qualities, like, an amazing character in my mind. And I love this book. I liked how it was kind of like a... it could have been like a real life story about a band. Like Fleetwood Mac. Total Fleetwood Mac vibes throughout this whole book. And I loved it.
I'm fairly certain it was based on Fleetwood Mac.
I think so. For sure. But, yeah. I love it so much. It's my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid novel. I think I've read like 3 of her books so far, so this was hands down my favorite. And yeah, definitely, it's another one on my favorite shelf, my 5-star reads. So
yeah, that was on my favorites list too, my hyped favorites.
Yeah,
but I gave it up because I know.
She knew my love ran deeper than hers, deeper than the holler for this book.
Wider than the river.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. And they're making a movie! Apparently my standard for a hyped book is whether or not there's a movie. Because my next one, Memoir of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. Again, there's apparently my bookmark. Just gorgeous. Not a lot of action, but just beautiful. I mean, the writing itself is gorgeous, and the imagery, and just like getting into this really culture and world that's very, very different from ours, obviously. But getting a look inside of the life of a geisha, I think, is probably even something most like Japanese people wouldn't necessarily know about too. So kind of that Hollywood insider kind of thing, except it's geishas. But it was really interesting, and like I said, just gorgeous. And you know, the things that this woman went through, and the strength that she had to get through it all, it was just amazing. So I loved it.
All right, next up, there's a couple books on here that are probably shockers to people, and this is one of them that's a shocker to me.
It was to me when I saw it on your list. I went, what?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. So, I don't like romance novels, yet here I am. I like this book 1,000 million times better, that's not a number, but it's a number now, than the movie. Like, I hate's a strong word. I very much dislike the movie because I really don't like Allie at all in the movie. In the book, I feel like her character is explained a little bit better, and I feel like there were more parts that I actually related and I understood, like, where she was coming from with how she acted and, like, the way that she treated Noah. And so, for that reason, I did very much enjoy the book a lot more, and I understood the hype. And by the time I made it to the end of this book, I was so invested in their love story and their love in general, I cried. This was the first book that I actually cried in when reading. So,
wow.
Yeah. It surprised the crap out of me, because I'd watched the movie before I read the book, and I thought, okay, this is going to be stupid, but I'm going to read it anyway, and I'm going to hate every minute of it. No. By the end of it, I was in tears. So, yeah. I liked it.
Obviously, it's on the list.
Yeah.
So this one will shock no one, I'm sure. Piranesi by Susanna Clark.
I'm pretty sure this book's mentioned in every book club video.
Most likely, yeah. I love this book. It is gorgeous. The writing is so good, and the main character, who is called Piranesi, that's not, as you come to find out, his real name, but it's just, it's really a character study about him until the very, very end. But in no way was I ever bored by it. I mean, it's just, he lives alone, and it's just this study on isolation and how, you know, a human mind can react to being so isolated. I mean, kind of like if you were on a desert island, you know, how would you survive the isolation? And then as you get more into it, there's also this kind of study on trauma, and it's just crazy good. Crazy good. In fact, talking about it, it's a fairly new book, so I've only read it once, but now talking about it, I'm ready to read it again, because it was just, man, it was so good. This is one of those that if I could erase my memory and read it for the first time, because there's, yeah, it's really, I don't know if I call it a twist, but it's a huge, because it's not like oh, that's what it was. It's like a slow reveal until the very end, when it's like, oh, I get it. And so now that I know that, you know, that tension and that expectation won't be there anymore, but yet I would, if I could erase my memory for one book to read over again, it would probably be this one, because it was so flipping good, as everyone knows.
Speaking of books that are just so flippin' good, that everyone already knows are so flippin' good.
It's kind of like the point of the video, isn't it?
Yeah, you know?
Well, fine.
So my next one is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I've mentioned multiple times, like Kelly with Piranesi, that this book is one that I just love. I wasn't expecting to love this one, because again, it's a romance novel. And yeah, as I've said multiple times, anything Emily Henry writes I'm going to read now because of this book. It's cute, it's fun, it's a perfect read for summer, and I love their little love story. The whole like will they won't they kind of a thing in this book works well in this story. It's not something that I typically like too much. I think it's done well in this one, and yeah, it was a 5-star read for me, easy. So thank you, Emily Henry, for this wonderful read.
Okay, so my next one is, yeah, I'll do that one. Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. Yeah, it was so good. I mean, she's such a good writer, first of all, but the way that the plot kind of twists around itself, and you're never quite sure kind of what's going on. It's almost like, well, yeah, it actually is a time travel story in some respects. So you get to hit different points in time, but then it kind of twists around and does this like figure 8 thing, and it's just all over the place. But yeah, it was so unexpected, I think, and very original for me, at least. I didn't think I'd read anything like it before. And it's also got really good, you know, human study on it with the main character and how he's dealing with his baggage and his issues, and then getting involved in this time travel thing that he does. And I mean, just how she works it all out, and in the end, it's just one of those things, like, in the end, you're just like, oh my gosh. That was, you know, all of the points dropped before just all of a sudden connect. And you're like, wow, okay. Yeah, really good. And I mean, how can it not be with that cover? I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's got a shimmer to the cover. I love covers. Okay.
All right, my next one is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This book surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. I read it just because it was hyped, and also because I'm like, okay, well maybe this can help culturize me. I don't know. What the?
Is that a word? It is now.
It is now.
It is now.
Yeah, I devoured this book. I'm pretty sure I read it in a day. I was completely hooked from the first page to the last page. It's a stunning story. Like, it is eye-opening, and it's just, wow. Like, wow. Like I said, I was not expecting that from this book at all. But it blew me away. It really did. It was very well done book.
My next one, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This was my first V.E. Schwab book I ever read, and I adored this book, which is why I'm so disappointed that I really haven't enjoyed any of her books since, but you know, whatever. But I think what struck me the most about this was, you know, of course it's the girl that wants to get out of being in a forced marriage, and so she wants everybody to forget about her. Mm-hmm. And that she can live forever or whatever. She wants to travel, she wants to experience things and all of that jazz. So of course she makes the deal with the devil, so to speak, and how she twisted that around. And so that she lives forever, but everybody who meets her forgets her. And the things that were brought out that would be a natural, you know, consequence of that, you just don't even, I mean, the things that I wouldn't even have thought of that could be a problem. I think that's what I like so much, is the things that continually surprised me about the things that Addie LaRue had to deal with, because, I mean, like, you can't rent an apartment. You can't.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Right? I mean, it's things like that. It's like, and of course in the beginning, you know, she lived 300 years ago or something. So, you know, in the beginning, it wasn't like you maybe never even meet your landlord, so what's the big deal? This was like in a boarding house where every time you're out of sight of the landlady or whatever, she forgets you. Like, out of line of sight. It's not just a gradual thing over a day. It's like the minute she is not looking at her, so she can turn away and turn back and she'll have forgotten her. And what is this stranger doing in my house? So it's just, you know, I think that's what hit me the most, is the things that I never would have thought would have been a problem for her, and how she comes up with ways to deal with that. So, really liked it.
All right, so my next one, I don't have a physical copy of it yet. It's on my Amazon wish list. It's going to be coming soon, I'm sure. But I'll put it on the screen somewhere here. This Savage Song, also by V.E. Schwab. It's a duology, I believe. And, oh, it is so good. Like, I know you said that you didn't want to read any more V.E. Schwab.
Oh, you know.
But,
well, okay, so, well, that's not true. I have read, I was going to say 3 Times Lucky, but I think I have read 2 other books other than Addie LaRue. I really didn't like either one of them, but it's okay. You know,
yeah,
I'm up for it.
I really liked this Savage Song. It was another one of those where I just, like, flew through the first book so fast, and I went to the library, like, the next day, and I had to have the second book in the series. Like, I had to have it immediately. It was so good. There's, like, action and drama, and there's some, like, kind of, like, magic. It's, like, post-apocalyptic kind of a situation, and I'm like, oh, it was so good. So good. And I loved, like, all the monsters and stuff in it and stuff, too. Like, it was just so well done. So it was after that one when I realized that, okay, like, the hype around Victoria Schwab is worthy of their, like, it's worth the hype. She is worth the hype. Like, those books made me want to read all of her books. I know you're gonna give me that.
I don't know if I'd say she's worth the hype. I'm not trying to be unkind, but I do believe, yes, she hits it. She hits it sometimes. Sometimes for me she does not, but sometimes she does hit it. So
I don't know. I love those books so much. So
well, I can try that one. I would try that one. But yeah, you know, A Darker Shade of Magic was on, well, it wasn't one of my worst lists. So my next one, and this may be very genre specific, but I do know that within science fiction realms, this is quite well known and very well hyped, and that's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. There is a whole series of these. I have not read the whole series yet, but I have read this first one, and I don't know. I know it seems like it's a love it or hate it sort of thing, and I loved it. The humor hit for me hard. I giggled my way through this, and there is a rather campy movie that looks like it's really kind of like a late 70s, early 80s movie, but it's more recent than that, so I think that was intentional. Very campy, but again, I giggled my way through it. Just the humor is what got me in this one, and I will have to read the rest of them too, but like I said, might be a little niche, but I think definitely, like I said, within science fiction readers, everybody pretty much well knows that one, and I loved it too. So,
yeah, I'm not a huge sci-fi reader.
Mm-hmm.
I read that in high school, and I loved it. I laughed so hard through that book. Like, it's amazing.
I know. It's very much a dry humor,
mm-hmm.
and it's like at times a ridiculous humor. If you like Monty Python, you will love that book.
Yes, 100%. Yes. That's what it is.
Yeah. And I happen to love Monty Python too, so.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary. 'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arms off!
My next book, another series, Divergent. Another like post-apocalyptic series that I thought was very, very well done. I am forever going to be in love with Four. Like, one of the greatest characters ever. Like, you can just move on over PETA because Four is the one. Which, that decision might actually be influenced a little bit by the guy who plays him in the movies, Theo James. Holy Moses. So, I really, really enjoyed this series a lot. All of the books I thought were done really well. I enjoyed every minute of this series. I thought that for the most part, Triss was like a really good main character. I kind of liked how she was independent and was like trying to, you know, viva la revolution all throughout the whole thing. And yeah, like I said, Four, love of my life. Like, this is one of my favorite book boyfriends that I have. So yeah, just a great series.
So I don't have a physical copy of my next one, but it is also probably a little more niche. Definitely, if you're a fantasy lover, you have absolutely heard of the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Good old Brando Sando.
The king.
Yeah.
The king of fantasy.
Yeah. Outside of that, maybe not so much, but definitely within fantasy circles. So, yeah, 3-book series. It's actually more than that because there's different eras. There's Mistborn Era 1, and then there's Era 2, and so forth. The Cosmere. Yeah, I mean, his characters are iffy sometimes, but the man can plot like no other. And my gosh, little droppings in the first book. The end of the third book just like bloomed. It was just crazy. How do you do that? I was, honestly, my mind was blown. I mean, I did do a at the end of book 3 because I just could not believe how he tied. And these are not small books. These are chunky books.
They are.
And how he managed to do that through 3 of these chunky ass books. It was crazy. But the world building, the magic system was so cool. Like I said, sometimes the characters are iffy, but yeah, everything else spot on. It was wonderful.
Alright, so the next hype book I have on my list is also part of a series now. It was a duology, and now there's going to be a third book that's coming out, I believe. And that's Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This is a book that is not typical for me to pick up. It was one that I think Reagan from Peruse Project recommended, and she really liked. And so I went off of her recommendation and ended up giving it a try, and I fell in love with it. And as you can see, it's not like a super tiny book. The second book is a little bit smaller than this one, but I just love this book. I did not want to put it down. I really enjoyed all of the magic that's in it, the kind of like fantasy parts of it. And I also really enjoyed the more like cultural aspects to it as well. So it's definitely a really great book, a really great series, and I am excited for the third one. I'm going to be rereading the first and second books when the third one comes out, and yeah, I'm excited for it. So yeah, I can't wait, but highly recommend this one for sure.
So my last one is another one I don't have a physical copy of, and I really don't know why I don't. It's just strange. Because everybody should have a physical copy of this book, I swear. And that is The Princess Bride by William Golden. And I mean, seriously, who doesn't love this? Who can't quote The Princess Bride?
Right.
Whether you've just watched the movies or whether you've read the book, the movies, the movie, or, you know, read the book as well. I mean, who doesn't quote it? Who doesn't know? My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Who doesn't know that? Everybody knows that. But it's another one where the humor just hit me, you know, and
it's another very Monty Python-esque type of humor.
It is. And, well, again, I don't think that word means what you think it means.
We didn't fall? Inconceivable. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I mean, just the humor of it, it hit me perfectly. It is a cute little love story, too.
Yeah, it is. It's just not my favorite part of the book. The humor is definitely what makes it amazing.
The humor is the best.
For sure. For sure.
Yes. And it is one where I would say the movie is as good as the book.
I haven't read the book, but yeah, the movie's amazing.
You know, yeah. Carrie Elwes and Mandy Patinkin and Andre the Giant. I mean, oh my gosh, yeah. It's great. It's just great. All the way around, it's great.
Yep, all around.
So, okay, so that was my last one, so
on to our 5 shares.
Our final 5. The
final countdown.
She just went way back to the 80s on that one, but okay.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Okay, so our final 5. God, now that song's gonna be stuck in my head. These are ones that are both on our list.
Yeah.
And I was willing to give up Daisy Jones. I wasn't willing to give up any of these.
Yeah,
so we decided to share.
Hyped.
So into sound effects tonight.
This is sleep deprivation at its finest.
We are a little slab happy tonight.
It is.
A little bit.
Way past my bedtime, so.
Yeah.
What is it?
Top off a busy day too.
But anyway, okay. Down to business.
Yeah. Our last ones. You want to go with the one we don't have physical copy of first?
Yeah, right here.
There it is. You can see it.
What was it?
It is The Hunger Games.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
By Suzanne Collins. Yep,
that's it.
That's the
it.
one. Yeah, I love this series. I read it when it first came out, and I think that was one where I yeah, I had to wait for each book to come out. So I reread each book each time the new one came out. So I've read it multiple times, the whole series, and I love it so much. I think that they're really well done. I really enjoyed all the characters. Peeta was just like the sweetest. So like he was too sweet for my taste personally. But I still really enjoyed his character and Katniss and all of that. Like I just thought it was really well done, and the whole world building and everything was also really well done as well.
Yeah, I thought so too. I did enjoy the first book the most.
Yes, it was hands down the best one.
The second one was, well, it just kind of decreased as it went down. I wasn't real thrilled with the third one, but I mean, it was good. It was good, but the first one definitely.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is because it's young adult. I don't read young adult really, but I also read them when they came out. But unlike some other young adult series that came out around the same time, and this one I liked, and this one I have stayed liking, because there are others that came out that I liked them when I read them, but the longer that I kind of lived with them, the longer I sat on them, I didn't like them afterwards. It just, the shine wore off quick and it tarnished.
You're wondering what series that Kelly is talking about. It would be the Mortal Instruments series. Another one of my favorite series.
That's one of them. Twilight's another one.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Twilight, you know, I enjoyed reading them while I read them. But as soon as I was done and really started thinking about what I just read, well, I say that, but the Breaking Dawn really crashed and burned for me. Big time. And then it really tarnished the rest of the series. So anyway, yes, the Hunger Games stayed with me, and I do still enjoy those. And I thought the movies were well done.
They were.
Too.
They were very good adaptations.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. Yep. Okay.
All right. Moving on.
Yeah. Well, we've certainly talked about this one before, too. So.
Yes. If you watched our last live stream, we had Project Hail Mary.
Yes.
Written by the same... Oh, goodness.
This dude.
Initial White Knight. It's rough, man.
It is.
The Martian.
Martian.
By Andy Weir, who also wrote Project Hail Mary.
There you go. I got it. Slap baby. We are slap baby.
We have spent too much time together.
We have. We obviously have.
Yeah.
But yeah, unlike Project Hail Mary, we both liked The Martian.
Yeah, much better book.
Yes.
Absolutely hilarious. This is another one I laughed my way through, and it wasn't just like a smile or a little chuckle. This was like laugh out loud.
Yeah, belly laughing.
Yeah, it was so well done. It was so good, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book so much.
Yeah, me too.
Which surprised me because I thought the movie was okay, but the book is so much better.
It really is. The movie's good.
The movie's good.
Very good,
And
this is a lot better. And
yeah.
Yeah, it deserved the movie. It really did. Deserves the hype. We liked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next one. This book is one that I was surprised that Kelly liked because it's in my genre. Horror. That's Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Grace Moreno. Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Wow, I butchered that. Sylvia Moreno Garcia.
There you go.
I knew I would get it. This book was such a ride. Like, it was
disturbing.
Very disturbing. But I loved every minute of it. Like, every minute of it was so well done. I never knew where it was going to go next, which I very much appreciated. I feel like sometimes in horror and thrillers and stuff, they're getting to be a little bit too predictable for me. So I really enjoyed not knowing where this was going to go, and then still not quite sure like where we were at the end of it, but
it got weird.
It got weird.
It got real weird.
But I loved it.
It did.
Yeah.
Well, I think so far this is the only one of hers I read, so I can't speak to her body work as a whole, but she builds an atmosphere like none other. And So yeah, I mean, I talk a lot about, oh, the writing was so beautiful, it was so good. Yes. When you can bring characters to life and make them feel real, when you can, through a non-visual medium, when you can describe a creepy old house and you know exactly, not because she described it exactly, not because she said, oh, it's painted blue and it's 3 stories, but by the way she described how it felt. And
Yeah.
you knew exactly what it was.
She puts you right there.
Yeah.
Like, there are times where you're gonna feel like you are the main character in this
Mhm.
book.
Yes.
So it's very, very well done.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that
And the cover. My gosh, the cover.
I love this cover so much. So, yeah.
I do too. Okay, so next would be, and actually I'm surprised you like this one so much.
Considering that I wasn't a huge fan of Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, and yeah, it's The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Okay, so, because it's very plot light.
Yes, that is
And
true.
it is a meandering, slow sort of story. So yeah, and yeah. And she wasn't a fan of Bradbury. Which should have probably been on my list. Because Something Wicked This Way Comes. Mm-hmm. That could have been on my list.
I love the title.
Yeah,
It
that
wasn't
comes
s-
from Shakespeare, as I told you. I probably could have had Slaughterhouse-Five on my list as well. Huh. Yeah, see? If I just thought about it. But it wasn't. Anyway, this was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. But yeah, I mean, again with the beautiful writing.
It's very lyrical
it
with
really
the writing.
is.
It was very, like you said, a meandering story. Like, you
Mhm.
just kind of floated through it all. And
Yeah.
I don't know why this one I liked more than Something Wicked This Way Comes, because I think I'm pretty sure when we had our book club discussion about that one, that was the one complaint I had about Bradbury, was that I didn't like
Maybe.
the lyrical writing.
Maybe you should read it again.
Maybe.
Maybe
Maybe
you
I
should.
have grown as a reader.
But I think that, again, the type of writing fit a circus theme,
Yeah.
too. And
Especially a magical circus.
a magical circus. And I think, and I think it was helped because of, it had how many different points of view. I mean,
Multiple.
there was, it followed multiple characters. And they were so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The group with the red scarves.
That was awesome. I
like
love that.
the
The little secret group.
Yeah, the circus groupies,
Yeah.
that followed it around,
Love
and then you had, the people that were involved in the planning and the financing of the circus and the things that happened to them, and it was just really weird and kind of creepy sometimes,
And
but
amazing.
just pretty all
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
No, we know we like this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, our final book. Our final hyped book. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. It's one of the only classics that I have read and reread and reread. I think I've probably read this book over 10 times. Like,
Mhm.
it is amazing. I used to go and, when I was a junior high, I was not reading this as a child, like junior high, high school age, I would go and I would just take this book and I'd go sit outside and read in the trees, like, multiple times a month. Like, that was just what I did. I love this book. My copy that I have right now is a paperback. It's one of the only paperbacks that I have, and it is destroyed. But I refuse to get rid of it because I have so many fond memories sitting and reading Pride and Prejudice.
Mhm.
I love it. Mr. Darcy is like goals. I love him so much. Like, he's just
Yeah.
the best character, and it's just
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay, so like we said, or I said in the romance video, how she wrote her characters, they're just like, she would write like Lizzie's parents. Mr. and Mrs. Bennett. They're written so straight, but they're so ridiculous. They're funny, and she was just so good at poking fun at her own like social circles and her own class. And also, you know, it's satire too, because it's very much a commentary on women and what they went through. And there's just so much going on, and it's just wrapped in the cutest little love story ever. Oh.
Yeah. This is love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's easily one of my favorite classics. Easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'm going to find one that tops it. Quite frankly. I haven't. I've read quite a few. Haven't found one yet. So,
there you go.
our final one.
That's it.
I feel like it was so right that we ended on this one, because I think
Probably
it's the one that, out of all of them that we share, that we both loved so much.
So much.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. So that's a good one. There we go.
There
you go.
Hyped books, yeah.
25 hyped books. If you have not read any of them, we said they're good, so you know they're good.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Because we know everything. We know.
Because obviously, if we don't like a book, it's no good. You don't need to read it.
Get out of here with it.
Obviously.
Obviously. My God.
But these are butter.
Bread and butter. Ain't nothing better than butter, baby.
Butter. These are butter. Okay, we've really got to stop trying to be East Coast people.
Yeah, that is not my life. I'm a West Coast girly, if anything, you know.
Honey, we're from Kansas. Come on.
Yeah. Just trying to think of a Kansan thing and I couldn't.
Slap happy. This is all gonna get cut. You know that, right?
No,
Okay.
I'm leaving this in.
No.
I'm leaving it in.
You say that now, but wait till you watch it back later.
I'm leaving it in.
Anyway.
Any Hoosers, it is time to end this video.
It is. So
it is like midnight, so
there are a lot of books. If you have not read any of them, we would highly recommend that you do so.
Yes, drop whatever you're reading now and read these books that we recommended.
25, man. If you can't find at least one you like out of that.
Exactly. That's like,
Come on.
That's more, that's $2. Two bucks. 2 books. That's $2 a month. Right there. Meet your reading goal with just our book recommendations. You know, I know your Goodreads reading goals are going to need some help, so.
We've got you.
We got you.
We got ya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, if you guys enjoyed watching this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Helps us out a lot. It's free to do. And also, if you're not already, I don't know what you're doing, you need to go on down below the video, hit that little red subscribe button. Join the Everyday Epic / Everyday Adventurer family.
She knows who she is. Really.
Yeah, you know. I got multiple personalities. I gotta hit them all, you know. So, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. But, yeah, we have book videos every Sunday, usually.
Ish.
We're trying.
We got to keep y'all on your toes.
Exactly. You know, this whole every Sunday thing is new for us, so cut us a little slack. We're working really hard to try and get into a good schedule. So, yeah. But there's at least one video every Sunday that's going to be a live book club discussion.
Book club discussion.
That is a guarantee I can make.
Yes.
Yes.
Except in June. When then it'll have to be a different day. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, every other. We promise. Sort of.
Yeah. We're great. We're doing great.
We're awesome.
But anyway, yeah, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Hopefully you got some good recommendations in here, books that you're interested in, and
let us know your favorite hyped book.
Yeah, or even, you know,
below.
hyped books that you didn't like. We're also interested in seeing some, like, fellow hype bashers. We'd like to know we're not alone in the world.
Yeah. So if you don't follow the crowd either, let us know.
Yeah.
That too. But again, if you like something hyped that we didn't talk about here, or if you agree with us, and you want to say, hey, yeah, you're right. We know we are, but it's nice to hear.
Yeah, so let us know down in the comments. And if you have any ideas for some future videos, also let us know.
Yeah,
Down
that
in
would
the
be cool.
comments. We're always needing ideas for videos now that we're making commitments to every Sunday videos. So videos every Sunday. Wow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Words are hard now. So
Yeah. So we
with that.
we better go before we
better
forget
go.
how to say goodbye.
Yeah. And before I forget what my name is, I'm Amy.
And I'm Kelly.
And we're the
Everyday
Everyday Epic. We'll see you guys in the
Bye.
next one.